Hey, tonight we are going to talk about some perception magic right now on The Front.
Thanks for tuning in to Lead the Teams, The Front.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Front. My name is Mike Phillips, and I will be your host. As always, please check out leadtheteam.tv. That's my YouTube channel, and you can subscribe there, please. Also, you can check out my audio podcasts on Google Play, on iHeartRadio, and on iTunes. And regardless of whether you're tuning in audio or video episodes, please participate in the comments down below and share your questions, share your thoughts, share your opinions, as often that leads to a really excellent future show. So tonight is going to be all about perception. I'm going to be talking about people's perceptions and how they affect their beliefs. And title of the show, like I said, Perception Magic. So first off, I'm a definition guy. So I'm going to run through a few definitions. I've got a few parables and stories, and then hopefully that'll help everybody tie this together. So first off, perception is the state of being aware or becoming aware, the process of becoming aware of something through your senses. And so it's all about what you know, when you hear something, how you perceive it, when you see something, how you perceive it. You've heard the saying, seeing is believing, right? If you see something, you develop a belief or a perception about that. And let's talk about automotive sales. In automotive sales for a minute, let's talk about if there is a car for sale, all right? And a customer's coming in to purchase that car, and you're coming in to sell that car. It's the same car. Right? The car is the car, but the perception of both the customer and the salesperson will be different. The perception of the customer may be that it's a great deal, or that it's a nice car, or that it's a not nice car, or that, you know, there's a million different directions we can go with that. And the perception of the salesperson may be that the car is a great deal and it's a beautiful car, or whatever the deal is. But when you're showing that product, even though you're looking at the same product, people get different views. They get different opinions. They have a different awareness of that specific product. Same thing goes for goal setting. I was engaged. Part of what brought this show up, I was engaged in a goal setting conversation this week in one of the groups I belong to. Fantastic group of people. And the conversation, I have a good friend of mine. His name's Sean Hayes. I asked if I could name drop him here. So there's the name drop, Sean. And his goal last month was to sell 30 vehicles, to sell 30 units. And at the end of the month, if you have not seen the other video, I did an entire sales meeting around it that we edited down to about 4 minutes. If you haven't seen that video, go to my YouTube channel and check it out. I'll put the link in the description for this one down below, because it's one of those that, so anyway, it was a good app, or a good video, I thought. And so Sean came out and publicly said, okay, here's my goal of 30 units. And he talked about it every day. He shared it with people. He focused on it. He lived it, breathed it, loved it. That was it. That was the goal. That was all there was. And still, I know that's his ongoing goal. Because, you know, once you've hit something, and it may have been your best month, but then once you've hit it, it's no longer your best anymore. So he publicly shared it. That's one of the ways for self-accountability, is to share things like that with other people so they can help to hold you accountable, so they can help cheer you on. And you're saying, well, how does this tie into perception? I'll get there. So the goal was 30. Sean finished at 29, which is a hell of a job. I mean, that is a really good job. And yeah, certainly there's people that sell more and less than that, and everybody's going to have their opinions or their perception of how good of a job that is, and you're entitled to it. But the thing is, 29 is a hell of a job. Well, somebody in one of the group conversations spoke up and said, well, yeah, but the goal was 30, not 29. And that's where it sunk in for me for a minute. And I said, okay, well, but my perception is that's a great job. Somebody else's perception is, well, yeah, but the goal was still missed. And so depending on how you look at it, for me, a long time ago, I had a mentor that trained me and said, look, anywhere along the way that you can eliminate the word or view of failure from your vocabulary, if you can knock it out of there, you can gauge the successes along the way. You will see more success in the long term. And so for what it means to me, my perception of it is, okay, well, look at the 29 individual sales. Each time you sell a vehicle, there's a win. There's a success. There's a process to it. You can dissect it. You can learn it. You can figure it out and say, okay, well, this is what caused that one sale. And then if you can duplicate it or something similar to it, because we know customers are unique individuals, then you can duplicate it into number 2. And then you can copy that success, and you can copy your third success, and so on and so forth. So to me, the interesting thing is, as we went through this discussion, my viewpoint, and not that it was the right one, it was my perception, right? My perception, and mind you too, as we were talking about goals, goal, by definition, is the object of a person's ambition or effort, right? That's the aim or the desired result. Achievement of that goal and the goal are not the same thing. Achievement is actually reaching the number. The achievement of the goal is actually reaching it by effort, skill, courage, work, right? You have to work. And yeah, we all want to achieve the goal. Absolutely. I'm all for it. When you dissect those things and you look at what were the successes along the way, what were the wins, what was the attitude and the excitement surrounding it. When you look at those things and you look and say, how can I duplicate that effort? How can I duplicate and improve upon that skill? And it grows your courage, inside you, so that you can then sell more the next month, so that then you can mentor more people, so that you can be more and grow. To me, you look at it and I said, okay, well, all I saw was the 29 successes along the way. There are some people that just saw the one failure. And in my brain, it just doesn't compute. It just doesn't work that way. So it's one of those things I thought I would hop on tonight and say, okay, well, let me share my view of it. Eliminate the failures. Even if, and that was one of the things. Sean went on and he had shared a video as well. You can look him up on Facebook. Look him up at Sean Hayes, Your Car Guy. If you Google him or look him up on YouTube or Facebook, he's easy to find. The guy's an absolute inspiration. And not that I want the whole show tonight on this show to surround that. It's one of those things, though, that when you're talking about perception, even he had gone on initially and he posted about a 2-minute video and he says, well, guys, I failed, because he was looking at 29's a failure and 30's a win. And I'm thinking, man, it doesn't compute for me. For me, there's still 29 successes that then if you duplicate that the next month, you should get at least 29 and hopefully onto 30 and then 35 and 40 and so on. So, the going after the goal, creating the object, talking about it every day, being excited about it, having self-accountability, having other people to hold you accountable, making sure to put in the work and the effort, and having the courage. Here's the thing, having the courage to go out there and say what it is publicly, and then having the fortitude and character when you didn't hit that number, right? When you didn't make the almighty, the achievement, that shows a hell of a lot of character for somebody. And you can still go on and figure out, say, okay, well, how can I duplicate that? Because next month it's 35. It's on, man. Let's go. So the thing is, people's perception, when it ties into stuff, when it ties into the sale of a car, when it ties into achievement, when it ties into a view of success, everybody's perception of reality is different. It doesn't mean that definitively, that doesn't mean, as I'm sitting here and sharing this with you right now, it doesn't mean that my perception or my view is the right one. It's the right one for me. And so you've got to take that and determine, okay, well, is it the right one for me also? Are there pieces I can take from that? Can I adapt what my new perception is so that it's fitting, so that I can succeed, so that I can just get out there and kill it and light it up? So I'm going to share a couple of parables here at the end. And this is pertaining to perception as well. I'll share 2 stories. One's a little darker than the other. I'll start with that one and then I'll move on to the happier one. So you think about this, and there's probably some truth to this. So you have 2 brothers, raised in the same household, raised by the same parents, grow up, same set of rules, everything else. They both grow up and move into adulthood. One brother becomes a hopeless mess. He's a drunk. He's hopeless, homeless. Just if anything can go wrong, and it does go wrong based on his choices, that's where this one brother ends up. Alternatively, the other brother becomes an extreme success. He's loved by many people. He's surrounded himself with mentors and other people that can grow him, and they're so successful. And then at some point in life, the two brothers come back together and they get interviewed. And the interviewer says, okay, well, so brother number one, the hopeless, homeless, drunk, that has had no aspirations through life, he says, well, so what happened? Why have you ended up in this direction? And the brother's answer is, well, my father was a hopeless drunk. I couldn't help it. It's where I would end up. On the flip side, they asked the other brother, how could you be so successful? How could everything in your life be so amazing? And he says, well, my father was a hopeless drunk, and I wasn't going to end up like that. So those two perceptions shaped those people to become who they are. Our perceptions throughout life, right? As kids, we get shaped. As teenagers, we get shaped. As adults, we get shaped. In jobs, we get shaped. We get, here's the hard part. It's really hard to maintain your own accurate belief system and perception and not be infected negatively. Yes, I said infected negatively by other people that are trying to force their perceptions on you. So it takes a lot of fortitude, right? It takes a lot of inner strength, and it takes surrounding yourself with the right people. In any successful person, and when they ask them, well, what's one of the things that makes you successful? They go through many, many things. One of them that often comes up is, well, you are the sum of your 5 closest peers, right? So those 5 people, make sure you share a really kick-ass perception of who they are, and make sure that they have a really kick-ass perception of who you are, because they will feed it, and they'll feed you. They'll help grow you and groom you, and they'll reinforce the things that they think are great about you. So here's the second one. And this one I love because it's a sales one. So this is all about how you look at it. It's all about perception. You have 2 salespeople dropped off in the bush, right? And they get dropped off, and both of these shoe salesmen are headed out to sell shoes. And they're in the wild, in the jungle, and they both come upon this tribe. And time goes on, and a telegraph comes back to the factory. The first shoe salesman says, hey boss, bad news. The natives don't wear shoes. Then the second telegraph comes in from the second shoe salesperson that says, hey boss, great news. The natives don't wear shoes. Right? So it's all how you look at it. One salesperson goes in with a defeatist mentality. The other one goes in as a winner, as a champion, and says, look, I can sell everybody shoes. So as I'm tying all these things together, and we're talking about perception this evening, make sure that you love and groom your belief system, and you get people to surround you that love and groom your belief system, that can stroke your ego, that will build you up, that will fire you up, that will get you excited and grow you. Because when you have that, your perception of yourself will change to the positive also. So, thank you so much for joining me for an episode of The Front tonight. I sure appreciate it. Remember, I do this every single Wednesday and Sunday. Tonight's episode, hope you got some out of it. Perception magic. And again, my name is Mike Phillips. Thank you so much, and I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.